Hi folks, I'm just going to do a quick little video on the Rough Rider cotton sampler. The reason being twofold. One, Tobias, knife chats with Tobias Gibson. If you're not subbed his channel, really good, particularly if you're interested in the history of pocket knives, traditional pocket knives, that is to say. Anyway, he did a little video on the Rough Rider cotton sampler with a little bit of background about where it originally came from in the 1920s, 30s. I think it was originally a pattern. Then GEC did a pattern a little while back that was kind of expensive, and then Rough Rider have done a series of them. He had the first one, which was in Appaloosa bone, and he also showed one in black smooth bone, which instead of having a shield on here has the double R, which is inlaid, which is quite nice. But the other reason I'm doing it is because for Christmas I got a number of knives, 3 of which are shown in the viewfinder at the moment. I've got quite a few Rough Riders. I quite like them because you can collect lots of patterns without them being hideously expensive. And they are, in fact, much better knives than a lot of people would like to give them credit for. Now, he looked at the large pattern, which I have 2 of here. One is in this nice Stag Bone. Now you may notice I've got a new camera set up here, but my new light hasn't arrived yet, so I'm reliant on the kitchen lights, which are horrible. They create nasty shadows and very shiny hot spots, which is a bit of a problem. Anyway, this is a nice smooth, Stag Bone, brown Stag Bone it's called. Now, that means to say it's nothing to do with the stag, it's just bone that's been cut to look like stag, but actually I think it makes a really nice finish on a knife. And in some ways slightly better than stag because it's manufactured. It can give a slightly more consistent, or can we say a consistently inconsistent finish. Stag can be a bit all over the place unless you're very lucky and you get very good quality stag. What makes this pattern special though, it's not so much that bone. There are lots of Rough Riders available in that bone at the moment, but it's the blade shape. Now, Tobias made the point that it's used like a scalpel. Well, I actually think that's exactly what it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be a pocket scalpel, in that you cut with it. Obviously I'm not cutting this knife, but you cut in a draw pattern like that, using that curved part of the blade, so drawing like that, rather than stabbing it into anything. Which makes it quite a useful pattern for me, because in general day-to-day life, because of my hands, I use a thing called a rocker knife. Now, a rocker knife, and this is not really something for a knife channel per se, more for a disabilities channel, but a rocker knife has one that's got a big soft handle, which means it's quite comfortable for me to hold, which, funnily enough, the Rough Rider gives you actually quite a big handle for such a small amount of blade, so that's quite useful to me. But the other thing that it does is that it has this rocker shaped blade, which means that if you want to cut your toast, you push it into the toast, you rock, and in doing so you're doing a cutting action. So if you saw it from the side, you put it onto your toast like that and you rock it down. Now, if you look at the cotton sampler, what do I call it, cotton picker, it's actually got quite a similar profile in that rocking part of the blade, so that's quite useful to me as an everyday knife. So I quite like it for that. It is, it's a slightly unusual, it's a slightly quirky knife, and people will always sort of want to know what that's all about. The one downside to the large cotton sampler is that it is actually it is actually, this one's got a stronger spring than the other one, you know. It is actually quite large. I mean, I don't think it's actually called, I think it's just the cotton sampler. I don't think it's called the large cotton sampler, it's just the cotton sampler. It can be, to some non-knife people, unnecessarily threatening. I mean, considering it's only got a sort of 2-inch cutting blade, to, you know, suggest that might be in any way threatening is surprising, but it's a sort of closer to 3-inch blade overall, and with quite a big handle it does appear like quite a big knife. That is of course overcome when you have the small cotton sampler. I want to call it the cotton picking. I always want to call it that. Can't get it straight in my mind. This one has a much lighter spring than the large ones. It doesn't really have so much of a snap on the open. That's the half stop. You'll have heard that click. But if you listen, yeah, it's not such a good snap. And it's a bit inconsistent. But it is a nice little knife. It is quite small in the hand. It's definitely unthreatening. I mean, this is proper penknife size. I've nothing actually handy to compare it with that would make a reasonable reference, but I do have my trusty ruler. So if I put that, it's a 7-inch long knife. The blade cutting edge comes in at about 2 1/4. If you rock it round, you can make it sort of 2 3/8. I think it can come to. But overall, the blade is pushing that 3-inch level, which in the UK is a critical level. You're on the right side of it. You're certainly on the right side of it on the cutting edge. So this does make a very plausible day-to-day carry without any risk of getting into any bother at all. And the little one, well, you know, you don't have any problems at all. We're talking about a 2-inch overall blade, a cutting edge of 1.5 inches. You might be able to stretch that out to 5/8 if you rock it. You know, if you were to roll it along the, can't do it without my hand being in the way. I could do it this way, I suppose. Start at the 8. If you were to kind of roll that along, you're going to get that to maybe 1.3 inches on at the most. But it's not certainly nothing that's going to cause any problems. Certainly not going to get you into any sort of bother at all. These are, I mean, I think they're quite nice knives. The fit and finish on them is pretty good too. There's a little bit around here, doesn't look too nice. I think it's actually more dirty than anything else. But it is a sort of slightly sunken in, so it's allowed dirt to accumulate. This one is pretty good. There's a tiny bit of gapping towards here, but it's, you know, it's nothing really serious. And this one is absolutely fine all round. Now, considering that these are, I think, sub £20 knives in the UK, well under $15 in the US. I'll get this positioning right eventually. Can't quite get used to the fact that the camera is on one corner of the phone. It's up here, which when I'm looking at it, looks like it's sort of the camera lens is sort of looks like it's sort of here. It's you got to remember to push everything along. Anyway, so I'll not witter on too long. That's 10 minutes already. But I do like these as a pattern. This is the buckshot bone. It's the first time I've had a buckshot bone finish, and this one is the tobacco bone, smooth tobacco bone. They're all really nice. The fit and finish on them is all pretty good. I think it would have to be at GEC prices before you'd start to complain about the fit and finish. They're certainly as good as any of the case knives I've had of late. I want that to stop blinding you. Yeah, I'll get the new lights sorted, and then we'll get some more videos. I've got some other stuff that I got for Christmas, and I got 1 or 2 other purchases. I am going to do another one on the Isonzo. from MKM, which will be coming out shortly. Okay, thanks. Bye.